Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your Quantum Tarot reading with Louise. This is a career and finance reading. There'll be 3 columns. There'll be a challenge column, a solution column, and then a potential outcome column if you take the solutions provided. This is not a prediction. You are in control of your destiny, and that will be based on the decisions that you make today and the actions that you take today. In your first column, you have the Quantum Fool. Second column, the Mirror Archetype, and your outcome, Project Mockingbird. Let's see what else we have in the first column going on. These are my own personal cards that I have designed and printed, so you will not find any other reader working with these cards. They're based on principles of quantum physics and the principles of the atomic reality that is the fundamental building blocks of life, really. We all come from, the quantum field. Everything that exists arises from the infinite field of energy that surrounds us. So in your challenge column, you have the Quantum Fool, quantum immortality. Consciousness does not end, it shifts to the branch where it survives. You are not the body, you're the traveller. Gravity. Gravity is the invisible force that holds everything together. And then the 3 of Swords, heartbreak, sorrow, emotional pain and separation. It's interesting that this card has come out actually given the political climate at the moment. You could be quite affected by the news at the moment. It could be affecting your work life. It could be affecting your ability to separate emotion from objectivity when it comes to career and finance. Maybe you're feeling almost like worried about the world, the economy, everything that we see in the news. It sort of feeds through, doesn't it? Even if we try and block it out, it gets to us in one way or another through a colleague at work mentioning it, or if you listen to the radio, it would come on. So you feel you're being pulled in a direction at the moment that you don't want to get pulled into, but it's like a vortex of energy sucking in your joy, essentially. It's impacting on the amount of energy that you're focusing on your work. So obviously our energy, our time and our mental resource comes at a price. Every time we think about the issues in the world, that has an opportunity cost because we're not thinking about how we progress our career, or what extra bit of work can we get done in this half an hour to help on a certain project that we might be working on. And the gravity of this, whatever it is that's pulling you, I keep coming back to this card. There's a huge story at the moment in the UK of something terrible that happened. And I feel like that it could even be that, or it could be another story that's of a similar gravity. It's like a gravitational pull that's distracting you from focusing on the things in your life that can help you improve your life, like improving your financial situation. If you're a leader at work, how do you improve your team dynamics? How do you develop yourself? Could you be going on any courses? Could you be reading any books? Distraction really is the main theme coming here. Your attention is a commodity. There's always a fight for our attention because energy flows where attention goes. And there are people that want to distract the masses. There are people that want to absorb you into the fear, the drama. So you have a choice. You have another possibility that you could be heading towards. So we're choosing to focus on the negatives, the media, the drama, the potential famines, the potential, reduction in oil, the wars, or we could look towards another possibility. Energy goes where attention flows. So, summary there, your challenge is to realise when you've been sucked, when that gravitational pull has sucked you into the drama, the news, the doom scrolling, and refocus that energy towards something constructive, building your career, building your team, building your CV, looking for a new job role, putting some extra work into the project, thinking about how you can develop, which course can you join, which training do you need. And you have the mirror archetype card here in your solution. So a solution for you, reflection reveals the truth. What you resist persists, what you understand transforms. So the more upset and angry that we get about what we see in the media, what's happening in the world, the more we're energizing that, and the universe then reflects more of that back to us. Because resistance creates persistence. We actually create our own reality it's not even every second, it's so much faster than that. It's the speed of the way that we create the matter all around us is so much faster than anything we can really comprehend. But we're always creating the situations that we encounter. And the more we resist a certain situation, the more the universe reflects that back to us, because through that action of resistance, we're actually attracting that because we're focusing on it. So the universe doesn't recognize positive or negative focus. It just recognizes the object of focus, and it will reflect the object of focus back to you, whether it's a positive or a negative slant. The quantum field is not, it doesn't have a preference like we do. So in terms of solution, what is it within yourself? What's being reflected back to you that's mirroring a certain frequency within yourself that you're projecting outwards, that's then keeping you stuck in a certain cycle of the content that you're consuming, potentially through social media, the news, etc. Then we have the Hawking radiation card. Hawking radiation is when particles escape a black hole. Now, a black hole, typically in quantum physics, a black hole is supposed to only receive information and everything sort of disappears into it and never returns, never emerges again. However, the Hawking radiation is evidence that some particles do escape this. I would say that this is a message to you that actually what you feel like might be a deep black hole, in terms of the way that society looks, the way that you perceive your future to look like, there's always light that can emerge from any darkness. And really, again, it comes back to what you project onto that. 3 of Cups. Celebration, friendship, shared experience. Another solution for you could be to potentially spend time with colleagues who you wouldn't typically speak to. Try and broaden your horizons a little bit in your workplace. Try to experience the workplace from somebody else's point of view. If you've had a conflict with somebody, take the time to look from their perspective on a situation. It's much easier to overcome a challenge when you actually put that effort into the alternative viewpoint. Also, maybe some team building would be a good idea if you're a manager of a team. If you're a team leader, if you're like a CEO, a senior executive, really putting some effort into creating team spirit, having some fun, getting out of the office, something physically active as well would be a good idea. And then if you do take those solutions and you feed into those timelines, some potential outcomes for you would be Project Mockingbird. Now, this is so interesting given the first part of your reading, because there is a well-known project that was called Project Mockingbird, and it's all about influencing the masses. It's all about controlling the narrative. You know, the people that govern the world, the 1%, let's say, they own the media, they own all the financial institutions. Money is power, and when you have money, you can pay all the huge news channels to only promote certain narratives. So Project Mockingbird is all about being the architect of illusion, being the architect of how people perceive the world around them. You have your mirror archetype card, which we've discussed, which is about you not resisting. So resistance creates persistence. And I think through that, you're going to break free from Project Mockingbird. You're going to have like a bit of a revelation really within yourself that there's maybe some hidden powers that you've not really considered. You know, maybe you're of the mindset of, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and, it's just like, you've not really taken many of them seriously. But I think with the amount of decentralization now with information, there's just more and more information filtering into not necessarily mainstream like the BBC, but individual journalists now that are becoming more popular through social media channels. And I think the more that happens, the more there will be a turning point within society. A critical mass will reach a critical mass where, yes, there'll always be conspiracy theories that are just completely false and, just pulled out of the sky. But there's also going to be a reckoning. And when it comes to your work and your finance and your career, having that new understanding, having that new realization about the world that you're actually living in is going to give you a new sense of power and control over your own life. You're going to make better decisions about what you consume, and you're not going to keep giving your power away anymore to what's coming through the television, the screen. That's going to give you more energy to focus on your work and your career. Then you have the Taurus field. The Taurus field is essentially the quantum field operates through what's called Taurus field. So every atom sort of spins, and that spin is what creates motion, which creates the material world, or at least our perception of it. You're going to be being more understanding of what the true nature of your reality is. You're going to be learning more about how to tap into the laws that govern you through the quantum field and the reality of what's hidden. And you're not just going to be relying anymore on what your eyes are showing you. You're going to be seeing a deeper level of what's behind the facade, what's behind the message, what's behind the narrative. And you're going to learn to look deeper. And through that, that's going to help your career and your finances, because you're not going to have the same blockages anymore as what you've previously had. There could be a crossroads for you though with the Two of Swords. You will have some decisions to make. It could be along the lines of, do you want to stay in your current job role? Do you want to make peace with somebody? The Two of Swords is about duality. And interesting, these cards are quite similar actually. You may feel slightly unsure. You'll have a decision to make in terms of your energy. The Two of Swords is about which way do I go? It's, indecision, duality, blocked perception. So I think this is probably going to be more of a long-term journey for you. It's not going to happen overnight that suddenly you're going to wake up one day and see the world in a completely new way from a high level of consciousness. You've had this utopia moment and you've been completely transformed. No, it's going to be more of a in the moment, discerning in each and every moment of the day which path to take. And over time, you'll see a change in where you're letting your energy flow. Just going to pull one final card out for you. Action. My divine action incites love and harmony. I'm aware of my thoughts and driven by positive forces. I listen to my heart. My desire to manifest light transforms tests into growth, challenge and opportunity, and fear into love. Perfect. So transforming fear into love. I love that as a final card for you because it's a really good summary of what we've just discussed here. Thank you for your time. Please like, subscribe and share this reading. This is a brand new channel. I will be giving away a free reading to one of my subscribers out of my first 50 subscribers. So please like, share and subscribe, and I shall see you next time.